Guys, sorry for the lack of videos lately. I've had to take a bit of a hiatus, a bit of a mental break. I was sick for a while. I just had a lot of stuff going on emotionally, mentally. But what better way to come back and to get back into the game than to discuss the Academy Awards and how they absolutely will not break my heart this year? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the garage. Gerald here with you. On this video, I'm going to give you my final Oscar predictions for the winners. I'm going to go through every single category that will be given out Sunday night, with the exceptions of the shorts, as I have not seen any of the short films. I do plan to watch them all before the award show, but in fairness, I didn't want to give you a prediction on this video because I just haven't seen them and I can't really speak on their possible outcomes. First up, we're going to look at Best Picture. I'll put timestamps down below, by the way, so you can go forward to any category, because some people may say that the Oscars might be a bit boring this year. I don't think that, but I'm also a huge stan for Oppenheimer, and that is your Best Picture winner. I don't think there's even a number two. I really don't. If I had to put a film at my number two as a possible upset, it would probably be Poor Things or maybe Anatomy of a Fall. Those are probably the top three in my opinion, but I think Oppenheimer easily walks away with the movie of the year, and rightfully so. Another one that's pretty much set in stone is Christopher Nolan for Best Director for Oppenheimer. I mean, come on, the guy is on another level directing in this film. It's a culmination of all of his movies kind of leading up to this point. Not only that, but his collaboration with Cillian Murphy as well, which we'll get there in just a moment. But I think, just like I said with Oppenheimer for picture, this is a runaway for Best Director. Again, I said it might be boring until we get to a few below the line categories, but another kind of obvious pick is for actor in a supporting role. There you see the nominees. I'm going with the huge favorite here, and I think he's going to win his first Academy Award, and that, of course, is Robert Downey Jr., again, from Oppenheimer, which, as this video is continuing, they got 11 nominations. I've already given them 3 wins, and I've only discussed 3 categories. Robert Downey Jr. is your winner for supporting actor. Ryan Gosling would be my runner-up here, and I think he probably is going to be the runner-up in terms of when the votes are tallied. But RDJ walks away with this pretty easily, I think. Another easy one. I promise this is going to get a little more interesting as we get into some of the later categories. Da'Vine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers is the front runner, and I also am predicting her to win for actress in a supporting role. This is honestly the weakest category too in terms of competition for her. The only real competition that I think she has in this category is maybe Danielle Brooks from The Color Purple or America Ferrera for Barbie, but I just don't see it happening. It's Da'Vine Joy Randolph's award. She's won literally everything leading up to this point. She will be your supporting actress. And then let's get the last kind of obvious one out of the way, or at least obvious for me. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, playing J. Robert Oppenheimer in that epic Nolan film. It's got supporting actor, I mentioned. It's got picture, it's got director. It's going to get some other categories as well, as you'll see, that at least I think so. But Cillian Murphy is the face of that film and did such a tremendous job bringing that historic figure to life, making him somewhat sympathetic, somewhat antagonistic. He did it all. Cillian Murphy, get your Academy Award, brother. I'm so happy for you. He's my pick. What do we do? Actress in a leading role. Anybody that follows the Oscars, anybody that watches videos like this probably knows it's Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon versus Emma Stone for Poor Things. Those are your top two without a doubt. It is literally a coin flip because each one of those actresses has tremendous precursor eligibility leading into this, giving them the possible path to the Academy Award. Now, most recently, Lily Gladstone won the Screen Actors Guild Award, the SAG, for lead actress, which was voted on by her peers. That's a committee of nothing but actors and actresses that vote on that award. I think Lily Gladstone's Molly in Killers is an actor's performance. It is very quiet at times, but it's also very dramatic at times. She does have a couple really good emotional outbursts in the film, but there's also a portion of the film where she's not there. She's not really prominent in this 3.5 hour movie at certain moments. I think I saw something about her screen time being around the 20 to 25% range, which for a lead actress, you really have to make a mark on the Academy members if they're watching this overlong epic film. Whereas Poor Things, Emma Stone is front and center probably at least 80 to 85% of that movie. I personally, if I had an Oscar ballot, would vote for Lily Gladstone. When I did my rankings video, I'll put a tag somewhere for you and link it down below. I ranked her as my number one favorite performance amongst these nominees that you're looking at. But I think Emma Stone's prominence in Poor Things, man, I can't change my mind while I'm recording this, can I? The narrative for Lily Gladstone as the first Native American woman to win an Academy Award would be huge. The Academy, especially today's Academy members, are all about change and being progressive and inclusive. So I think that's going to play a big part as well. I think Lily Gladstone, the momentum is for her at the very end when voting ended, because the SAGs were like a couple days before that. She had a tremendous speech, very memorable. I want it to be Lily Gladstone, but I am going to actually predict Emma Stone here for Best Actress. I think the wins that she did pile up were earlier on in the season. But again, if the Academy members are watching these films, Emma Stone is all over that movie. Her DNA is everywhere. The character of Bella Baxter is phenomenally acted and portrayed at the age of like an infant to a woman in her 30s, going through this kind of like sexual awakening and revolutionary growth in that film. And it's extremely layered and nuanced. And even though Lily would get my personal vote, I think the Academy is going to go on a broader scale more for Emma Stone. I'm going to circle it. That's going to be my prediction. But I will tell you, if Lily wins this award on Sunday night, I will be ecstatic. I hope I am wrong, to be honest with you. But my prediction for Best Actress this year is Emma Stone, which would make her a 2-time Oscar winner. Wow, that was tough to get through. Now we get to some other categories that a few are probably shoe-ins and a few are kind of up in the air. I've been listening to podcasts, watching other pundits, reading articles in entertainment magazines to kind of come up with not so much my heart, which I've done in the past, but just what I think is going to happen based on what I've been hearing and been reading. When it comes to original screenplay, I think the awards that Anatomy of a Fall has won thus far make it a leap over a movie like The Holdovers, which a lot of people thought may get it. Past Lives, Celine Song is my personal favorite. Again, if I had a vote, it would go to Past Lives. However, I think the wins and the precursors that Anatomy of a Fall have under their belt, and people in the Academy seem to really love this movie. It's nominated for Best Picture. Justine Triet, it's got a lot going for it. And it is a movie, particularly the screenplay, that really sticks with you. I mean, Twitter and social media was sharing that scene of her and her husband arguing in the kitchen. Phenomenal scene. That scene alone, when you're talking about screenplay and dialogue, is a very good snapshot. I know it's been shared everywhere. So people voting in this branch, voting for this category, I think along with the wins that it's already piled up, Anatomy of a Fall will win original screenplay. Adapted screenplay is, I also think, pretty obvious because of what's happened thus far on the circuit, and that would be for Cord Jefferson's American Fiction. I am going to predict American Fiction. I will say here, though, that this could be the moment in the night when we learn if it is an Oppenheimer sweep or at a minimum, like an Oppenheimer avalanche, because it could easily win adapted screenplay here. So could Barbie, to be frank. Really, all of these stand a somewhat decent chance to where it wouldn't be like, oh my God, my jaw would be on the floor. But I think American Fiction, the writing prizes that has won thus far as an adapted screenplay, and even most recently at like the Independent Spirit Awards, which aired during voting as well. Screen Actors Guild Awards. Cord Jefferson gave a very charismatic speech there. I think it's American Fiction's award. That's my prediction. Although I think Oppenheimer could win this if it's like a dominant night for Oppenheimer and it just wins everything. So my prediction right now is American Fiction. For cinematography, chalk it up, Oppenheimer. This is another technical award that I just don't know how you could literally vote for anybody else. I really don't. Maybe Poor Things, and that will probably be the runner-up in this category. The cinematography is beautiful and fantastical in that movie as well. But what Nolan did with the IMAX reels and the attention to detail, and even the subtle moments like the raindrops that we see at the beginning and the flashes of the nuclear energy, and the cinematography is unrivaled in my opinion. And I thought that when I saw the movie back in July in IMAX. Looking at these nominees, I still think it. My prediction is Oppenheimer for cinematography. This is one that people are I've heard different things. Now, production design, and the next category I'm going to talk about are costumes, costume design, are, in my opinion, going to go hand in hand. Which is it, though? Is it Barbie or is it Poor Things? There is an argument to be made for either because of precursors and obviously the beauty of these films. Barbie and the sets, when you're talking about production design, is just amazing. I mean, it's flawless, it's colorful, it really stands out. It is a world that is somewhat known in our psyche. Even if we're not a little girl that maybe played with those dolls as a kid, we kind of know what the Barbie dream house looks like and the Barbie world looks like. And that was brought to life in this movie by Gerwig and her team. But the Poor Things production design, and really costumes too, are like a dream. It's a dreamscape landscape scenario where everything seems unreal but somewhat grounded. It's a very fantasy driven design, and it's not one that the Academy members or the general audience were familiar with. It is a wholly unique creation for production design, whereas Barbie was a recreation of IP that we were familiar with and that the Academy's familiar with. All this is to say, I don't know. This is another coin flip category, but whatever I pick in this category, I'm going to also pick for costumes, and that's going to kind of lean me a little bit because I'm going to go with Poor Things for production design here. I hate to say this because of how big of a fan I am of not only Barbie as a movie, but so many people involved in it, and obviously Greta Gerwig is one of my favorite filmmakers ever. So I hate to say it, but I think it might only win song, which is crazy to me. But I've just heard the narrative that, you know, Barbie was the highest grossing movie of the year. It's already got its award by being the biggest movie of 2023. And it's not really an Academy movie. I mean, it's not, frankly. It's a very kind of almost slapsticky. It does have its moments of dramatic pause and emotion. Of course, we already talked about the Ferrera speech. The kind of growth and journey that Barbie goes on, Margot Robbie in the film, is very important. But it just doesn't scream Oscar movie. And I think that's going to hurt it in the end. I think Poor Things is going to win production design. And honestly, it really should. I mean, Barbie and Poor Things are like neck and neck. You can't refute the beauty of the design of Poor Things. That's my pick. So we'll just go through costume design real quick. I'm going to stick with Poor Things for costume design. This is another one where Barbie could win here. I think in production design and costume design, I want them to go hand in hand in my mind. Historically, they do in a lot of cases. So I'm sticking with that kind of trend. Not always, of course, but I'm going to stick with that consistent trend, even if it's not always. So Poor Things will be my pick for costume design, but I think Barbie is the runner-up here, and she's also the runner-up, or it's also the runner-up for production design, but I'm going Poor Things in both. Makeup and hairstyling, I feel like, is an easy category. I think it's probably the only category that Maestro is going to win. So I'm going to give it to the team for Maestro here. Historically, the Academy loves when the elderly are kind of recreated. I don't know, it's just a thing. And the makeup and hairstyling team here also did like Darkest Hour for Gary Oldman. They just have really done a great job at transforming younger people into the elderly. And Maestro is a movie that the Academy loved, even though the general public is at best kind of mid on it. The Academy, I mean, it's nominated for Best Picture, Bradley Cooper, etc. I mean, Leonard Bernstein's a figure that is well known among the Academy members, I would imagine. So I think this is where they give it its due, and makeup and hairstyling, Maestro is my pick. For film editing, I think it's another technical award that goes pretty easily to Oppenheimer. Jennifer Lame has done some amazing things in her career from an editing standpoint, and I think it's finally time for her to have a gold statue in her hand, and she's going to be riding this Oppenheimer wave. I don't see anybody being able to beat it. I really don't. I think the number 2 might be Anatomy of a Fall here. Perhaps Poor Things is pretty close too, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of those sneak in there. But my pick is going to be for Oppenheimer. Best editing, just a flawlessly edited film that has just as much kinetic energy in it, in the editing, as it does in that story of the nuclear weapon as well. The editing in that film is a complement to the narrative of the film Oppenheimer, and it just is, it's beautiful. I think it wins best editing here. The visual effects is another tough one. This is one where if I had a vote, I'm going to vote for Godzilla -1. I'm not going to pick Godzilla -1 to win here. It was only up for one precursor VFX award, and it did not win. It actually lost, I think, maybe to Guardians of the Galaxy at that event. But the creator is a tremendously beautiful film that used these practical locations. They put in the CG later. It just looks real. It doesn't look fake at all. Now, with that being said, neither does Godzilla -1, and a lot of the same tactics were employed there. But I think that the creator getting multiple nominations, and we'll be getting to sound in a minute, the Academy probably knows that film a little bit more. It's obviously a homegrown film, American film, whereas Godzilla is Japanese. Again, Godzilla is my pick personally, but my prediction is going to go to the effects team for the creator. And then when you get into sound, this is where the creator pops up again. And I think that's what helped me tip it a little bit in terms of the VFX. However, I think you're looking at another technical win for Oppenheimer here in the sound category. The Zone of Interest is the runner-up here, and I think the Zone of Interest has a very interesting sound design where it used a lot of very unorthodox tactics, but it's a very quiet sound in the Zone of Interest, which is tremendous. Whereas Oppenheimer is a very in-your-face, bombastic, orchestral, holy shit, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard, with the different flashes. And not only that, in like the Trinity scene, when the sound drops out and it's just a very slow kind of hum or whisper that's happening while this bomb is going off, the climactic moment that we've kind of been waiting for in that movie, the sound dropping out there is phenomenal as well. This is just, and I told my friends when we saw this in IMAX on opening week, I said, that's the sound in that movie, especially coming from Tenet. And I know there's been some Tenet love lately as it's having a resurgence. I didn't like Tenet, and one of the main reasons I didn't is because I couldn't hear it. I didn't know what the characters were saying. You can hear the dialogue in Oppenheimer, and it also has that beautiful bombastic noise as well. I think it wins another technical award here for sound. Original score, guess what? Another technical award. There's not even a number 2 here. This score is goosebumps, chills, hairs on your neck. This is what a Hollywood score should be. It accompanies the film. It makes the film better. It makes it memorable. It makes certain scenes never leave your mind because of how well it was scored and where the score was used during different moments in the movie. And I think it's a no-brainer that this is the best score. I don't think there's a runner up here. I don't think there's going to be anybody close to this. I hate to say it, but I think John Williams might be the runner-up here for Indiana Jones, which the nomination even kind of upsets me. But I think it's Oppenheimer's another technical win for it. Original song. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is going to be the only win for Barbie, at least in my predictions. And I'm not going to go with I'm Just Ken, even though that's a more fun song and actually might be a more memorable song from the movie. But I'm going to go with What I Was Made For, Billie Eilish. I mean, it's all over the place. It's everywhere. You hear it. I heard it in the grocery store the other day. Elevator. There was like an elevator instrumental version of it at the local musical theater that we go to in my hometown. I mean, it's everywhere. And it is an emotional piece to that movie too, because that movie is thought of kind of as a comedy, and I'm Just Ken is obviously comedic in a way, and the whole thing of this Barbie doll world kind of come to life. And then you have this What Was I Made For, which really speaks to what the character of Barbie is kind of going through in her transition and her transcendence, really. And I think that it's a beautiful song, and that it's in the zeitgeist, and it really speaks to the deeper meaning in that movie. I think it's a pretty easy winner for Best Original Song. Ironically, I'm Just Ken is probably the runner-up. So I think either way, Barbie has a very, very good chance for this to be their sole Oscar. My pick is for What Was I Made For. Animated feature film is one that is kind of racking people's brain too, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, let me just go ahead and circle it, let you know, it's going to be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse for me. That's my prediction. The Boy and the Heron is Miyazaki at his absolute most insane. The movie is not digestible for the normal audience. And I'm not saying the Academy members are like a normal audience, but halfway through The Boy and the Heron, you might just be like, what did this turn into? I feel like I'm watching a Banksy painting come to life. From an animation perspective, it's flabbergasting and amazing. But then there's also been talk that Miyazaki's already working on a new movie, so this isn't even going to be his last movie, so now that narrative is not really going to play into the votes. I just think that Spider-Verse is a more accessible, digestible, well-known film. I think it, and I also think it's very, very good. I don't think it was as good as Into the Spider-Verse, but the animation is arguably better than that film was because it's been enhanced over 3 or 4 years of technology. I hate kind of rewarding it, or the Academy rewarding it, for what has been talked about in the public of the animators being overworked and not getting breaks and all that stuff that came out a few months ago. But if you're looking at what's here in front of us, and it's between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Verse, I just think more Academy members probably saw Spider-Verse to begin with. And then if they did see them, like I said, they just probably understood Spider-Verse more, and it got through to them a little easier. And if you're voting just merely based on animation, then it's really a toss-up. But I think it's going to be a lot of a popularity thing too. Among the Academy members, I wouldn't be shocked if The Boy and the Heron won. I really wouldn't, and I would be okay with it. But my prediction is going to be for Across the Spider-Verse. So it's been racking up. I mean, it won the Animators Guild. I mean, I think it's the animated movie of the year in terms of the Academy. and I think that's your winner. All right, we just have two more. International feature, pretty easy. My pick here would honestly be Society of the Snow. I absolutely freaking love that movie, but I think The Zone of Interest wins this pretty easily for Jonathan Glazer. It's a Best Picture nominee. So almost always, if your international film is also nominated for Best Picture, but it's not going to win Best Picture, then guess what? We're going to give you your International Feature Award. And also, I think Glazer and the Zone of Interest folks should be thanking France for not submitting Anatomy of a Fall here, because they did not do that, and it's not among the options. So the UK's The Zone of Interest, I think, is going to be your best international feature, and a pretty easy win. And honestly, I don't really know what the runner-up here would be. I know Perfect Days had a little bit of a surge lately, so that might be your number two. Like I said, I love Society of the Snow, so I would hope that would be in the top 2 or 3. If I had a vote, that would be my vote, but I don't. I think The Zone of Interest is your best international. And then I'm going to wrap up on documentary feature. I've seen 3 of these, so I'm going to go on. I did see the one I'm going to predict, so luckily I can speak on it. But I'm going to kind of go with what I've been hearing and also what precursors have come our way thus far. 20 Days in Maripol is the winner. I think the only reason why it might not win is because it is an extremely hard watch. It is a blistering, heartbreaking film that is somewhat cringeworthy, somewhat, I want to say somewhat, very sad, and extremely important and timely. And because of the timeliness part of it, and because of the risk factors that were involved with the filmmakers making this during this war in Ukraine, it's harrowing. It really is. And I feel like it should be honored because we now have that as a piece of history. And so will the Ukrainian people. And like I said, it's going to be hard. It's a hard movie to get through. But if the Academy members did, and they love that important kind of, like I said, being timely, I just don't see how 20 Days in Mariupol doesn't win. I think the runner-up here would probably be Four Daughters, which is another one that I saw and I really liked. But I think it's 20 Days is for your best documentary. All right, guys, there you have it. I went through 20 of the 23 categories. I've not seen any of the shorts yet, so I did not predict those. And we'll see how it turns out. Let me know what you think. Who's going to win Best Actress? That's the one that really has me, because I want Lily Gladstone to win that so badly. But as you saw, I picked Emma Stone. I don't know what to do, guys. Let me know what you thought down below, please. Thanks for watching this Oscars predictions video. Enjoy the show Sunday night. I will most likely do a reaction at some point. I don't know if it'll be immediately after or a few days after, but I will do a reaction to what happened, maybe compare my picks to what actually ended up winning. Enjoy the Academy Awards. I'll see you guys next time in the garage.